The cruise ship buffet looks simple. You walk in, grab a plate, and enjoy endless food. But this is where passengers make some of the worst mistakes on board. From hygiene risks to rude habits to bad timing and wasted food, these 10 buffet mistakes can quietly ruin far more than your lunch. Number 1. Never touch the food with your hands. The first rule sounds obvious, but somehow it still needs to be said. Never touch buffet food with your bare hands. Not the bread roll, not the cookie, not the slice of fruit that looks easy to grab, not the pastry sitting right at the edge of the tray. The cruise buffet is not your kitchen counter. It's a shared dining space used by hundreds, sometimes thousands of passengers in the same day. That means every little habit matters. One person reaches into the bread basket with their fingers. Another person touches 3 rolls before choosing one. Someone grabs a muffin, changes their mind, and puts it back. To that person, it feels harmless. To everyone behind them, the whole tray now feels questionable. That's why the tongs are there. Use them every time. If the tongs fall into the food, onto the floor, or into a messy sauce, do not put them back. Tell a crew member. They would rather replace the utensil quickly than have passengers using something dirty for the next 20 minutes. And if you're cruising with children, do not let them treat the buffet like a snack table at home. Serve younger kids yourself. A child may not understand why touching food matters, but every adult around them will notice when they do it. This is not about being dramatic. It's about respect. When you touch food with your hands, you're not only making a choice for yourself, you're affecting everyone who comes after you. Now, at a cruise buffet, good manners start before the food ever reaches your plate. And the next mistake is just as common, because most passengers think they're being efficient when they do it. Number 2, never reuse the same plate. When you go back for seconds, take a fresh plate. Every time. A lot of passengers reuse the same plate because it feels practical. They think, well, why waste another plate when this one is still fine? But at a cruise ship buffet, that is not how it works. Once you've eaten from a plate, that plate is no longer clean. It may have sauce on it. It may have crumbs. It may have food residue from your fork. It may have touched your mouth indirectly through utensils. Now imagine that same used plate going back near the serving trays. That's exactly what cruise buffets are trying to avoid. A clean plate is not wasteful. It's part of keeping the buffet safe and orderly. And you do not need to stack your old plate beside the food station. You don't need to carry it around while deciding what to eat next. Leave it at your table or place it where staff can properly clear it. The same goes for used cutlery. Do not carry your used fork back into the serving line or use it to help slide food onto your plate. And don't use your personal spoon near shared trays. Do not lean over the station with dirty utensils in your hand. Cruise ships are enclosed environments. People eat together, use the same elevators, touch the same railings, and sit in the same lounges. Small hygiene habits matter more at sea than they do in many places on land. And this one is easy. Fresh plate, fresh trip through the line, no exception. That one habit makes the whole buffet feel cleaner for everyone. But even when passengers get the hygiene right, they often make the buffet worse in a completely different way. They stop moving. Number 3, never block the buffet line while deciding. The buffet line is not the place to hold a family meeting. You've seen this before. Someone reaches the hot station, stops completely, and start studying every tray like they're reading a legal document. Behind them, the line keeps growing. Plates are in people's hands. Kids are getting restless. Someone's trying to reach the eggs. Someone else just wants toast. And the person at the front still has not decided between potatoes and rice. Now, this is one of the easiest ways to annoy other passengers without realizing it. Cruise buffets get crowded at predictable times. Embarkation lunch is crowded. Sea day breakfast is crowded. The buffet after a shore excursion is crowded. The lunch rush can feel like the entire ship had the same idea at once. So the best thing you can do is keep the line moving. If you're not sure what you want, step aside. Take a slow walk through the buffet before picking up a plate. Look at the stations, see what's available. Then go back and serve yourself with a plan. Experienced cruisers do this all the time. They scan first, then they serve. Now don't stand in front of the carving station while calling someone across the room to ask what they want. And don't let your group spread across the whole counter. Don't park your plate in front of a dish while you decide whether it looks good. You do not have to rush. That's not the point. You just need to stay aware. A buffet works best when everyone moves with a little patience and a little common sense. And once you stop blocking the line, the next mistake becomes even easier to avoid, because now you have to decide what actually goes on the plate. Number 4, never pile your plate like it's your last meal. The buffet can trick you because everything is included. Everything starts to feel urgent. You see pasta, then carved meat, then curry, then salad, then pizza, then dessert, then something you cannot even identify, but it looks expensive, so you take that too. And before you know it, your plate looks like 5 different meals crashed into each other. That is not a better buffet experience. That's usually how you end up with cold food, wasted food, and a stomach that ruins the rest of your afternoon. The cruise buffet is not going anywhere. Most dishes are restocked. You can go back. You can try something small first. You can take a fresh plate later if you actually want more. But many passengers eat like the ship is about to run out of food. That's how people end up taking seafood they don't really want, desserts they barely touch, and side dishes they only grabbed because they were standing there. Start smaller. Take the food you genuinely want first. If something is unfamiliar, take a small sample, not a mountain. If you love it, go back for more. This is the smarter way to enjoy a cruise buffet. And it also helps you enjoy the rest of the ship, because overeating at lunch can ruin a lot more than lunch. It can make you tired before an excursion. It can make the pool deck feel miserable. It can ruin your appetite before dinner. And if you paid for specialty dining that night, a giant buffet plate at 2 p.m. is not doing you any favors. The smartest buffet plate is not the fullest plate. It's the one you actually enjoy. And before you even pick up that plate, there's one stop you should never ignore. Number 5, never ignore hand washing stations. If the ship has a hand washing station or sanitizer at the buffet entrance, use it. Every time. Not just when someone is watching, or not just on the first day. Not just when there's a crew member standing there reminding passengers. Every time. Some cruisers walk past these stations like they're optional decoration. They wave off the reminder. They say they already washed their hands. They say they're only grabbing coffee, or they are not touching much. But think about what you touched before entering the buffet. Elevator buttons, stair railings, your cabin door, your phone, a chair by the pool, a casino machine, a public restroom door, a menu, a handrail on the gangway, maybe all of those in the same hour. That's normal cruise life. But it also means your hands are not as clean as you think. And your phone is even worse. A lot of passengers sanitize their hands, then immediately pick up their phone, scroll for a moment, and start serving food. At that point, they've basically undone the whole thing. So make it simple. Wash your hands when you enter. Use soap and water when available. Use sanitizer if that's what the ship provides. If you touch your phone while eating or serving, sanitize again before going back for more. And do not treat crew reminders like an insult. They're not trying to bother you. They're trying to protect the ship. On a cruise, one careless habit can spread quickly because everyone is living, eating, and relaxing in the same floating space. Hand washing is not the glamorous part of cruising, but it is one of the habits that keeps the trip smooth. And if you're traveling with children, that responsibility gets even bigger. Number 6, never let children serve themselves unsupervised. Cruise buffets are exciting for kids. There's pizza, fries, fruit, dessert, soft serve, pancakes, cereal, little cakes, food everywhere. To a child, it feels like the best cafeteria in the world. But a buffet is still a busy dining area. It has hot trays, heavy lids, crowded walkways, sharp serving utensils, slippery floors, and passengers carrying full plates in every direction. That's why young children should not be left to serve themselves unsupervised. And this is not about blaming kids. Kids are kids. They may touch food with their hands. They may drop tongs onto a tray. They may use the wrong spoon. They may reach across hot food, or they may take a plate of desserts, eat 2 bites, and leave the rest behind. They're not trying to cause problems. They just need guidance. If your child is young, walk with them. Hold the plate if needed. Serve the hot food yourself. Show them how to use the tongs. Remind them not to reach over open trays. And watch what happens with utensils. A child moving with a spoon from one dish to another may seem like a small mistake, but it can create real issues for passengers with allergies or dietary restrictions. Seafood, dairy, nuts, gluten, and sauces and meat products can all get mixed when utensils are moved around carelessly. That matters. Also, do not let kids run through the buffet. People are carrying hot coffee, soup, full plates, and drinks. One sudden turn can send food everywhere. A buffet can feel casual, but it's not a playground. When children are guided properly, everyone has a better experience, including the children. They get the food they want, you avoid stress, other passengers are not dodging chaos near the salad bar. And this connects directly to the next mistake, because it's one adults make too. Number 7. Never use the wrong utensil for another dish. Every dish has its own utensil for a reason. The pasta has a spoon. The bacon has tongs. The fruit has tongs. The sauce has a ladle. The dessert has its own server. Do not move them around. This is one of those buffet mistakes that looks small but causes bigger problems than people realize. Someone uses the bacon tongs to grab fruit. Someone uses the seafood spoon in the rice. Someone takes a ladle from one sauce and dips it into another. Someone drops tongs on the counter and puts them right back into the tray. This is not just messy. It can affect the food itself. It can mix flavors. It can spread sauces. It can move meat into vegetarian dishes. It can move seafood into food someone thought was safe. It can create allergy concerns for passengers who are already trying to be careful. At a cruise buffet, the utensil is part of the food safety system, so use the utensil assigned to that dish. If a serving spoon is missing, do not improvise with the one beside it. Ask a crew member. They can replace it quickly. If a utensil falls on the floor, do not pick it up and put it back. That should be obvious, but on cruise ships, you will eventually see someone do it. If you accidentally use the wrong utensil, do not panic. Just tell a crew member quietly so they can fix it. The buffet works because everyone follows small rules. Not complicated rules and not fancy rules. Just basic shared space rules. And once you understand that, you start seeing the buffet differently. It's not just about what food looks good. It's about when you go, how you move, and whether you choose the right moment. Number 8. Never show up at the worst possible time. The same buffet can feel completely different depending on when you arrive. At the wrong time, it feels crowded, loud, slow, and stressful. 30 minutes later, it can feel calm. That's why timing matters. One of the biggest buffet mistakes is showing up at the exact same time as everyone else, then acting surprised that everyone else is there. Embarkation lunch is one of the worst examples. Passengers board the ship. Cabins are not ready yet, and almost everyone heads straight to the buffet with carry-on bags, backpacks, and travel stress. That first buffet visit can feel chaotic. Sea day breakfast can be just as busy, especially when people wake up around the same time. Lunch on sea days can get packed. The buffet after a shore excursion can turn into a rush because everyone returns tired and hungry. If you're traveling with mobility issues, young children, or older relatives, these peak times can make the buffet much harder than it needs to be. You're carrying plates through crowds. People stop suddenly. Chairs are harder to find. Drink stations get backed up. Walkways feel tighter. The solution is simple. Go earlier or later. Even a small shift can change everything. If breakfast is busy at 8:30, try 8 or 9:30. If lunch is packed at noon, try 11:30 or 1. If everyone is coming back from port at the same time, grab a small snack first and eat properly once the rush clears. Also, check whether the main dining room is open for breakfast or lunch. Many passengers forget there are other options because the buffet is the most visible. The buffet is useful, but it's not always the smartest choice at peak times. Timing does not just change the food, it changes the whole mood of the meal. And if you decide to take food away from the buffet, there's another mistake you need to avoid. Number 9. Never take food back to your cabin without thinking. Taking food from the buffet back to your cabin is not always wrong. A piece of fruit, a small pastry, a cookie, or a cup of coffee can be perfectly fine. The mistake is doing it carelessly. Some passengers load up plates like they're building a second meal for later. Then they carry open plates through crowded elevators, down narrow hallways, and into small cabins where food smells linger much longer than expected. And that is where problems start. Sauces spill, drinks tip, desserts slide around, seafood smells fill the cabin, creamy dishes sit out too long, dirty plates end up in the hallway because the passenger doesn't want them in the room anymore, and none of that makes the cruise better. Your cabin is not designed to become a private buffet table. It's a small living space, and food odors can hang around quickly, especially in warm destinations. Be smart about what you bring back. Simple items are better. Fruit, bread, a small dessert, maybe a light snack. Things that are easy to carry and easy to finish. Avoid messy hot food unless you have a proper way to carry it. Be careful with soups, sauces, seafood, and anything that needs to stay at a safe temperature. And do not leave plates sitting in hallways unless the cruise line specifically tells passengers to place them there. On some ships, hallway plates create clutter, smells, and extra work for crew. Now, if you really want to eat in your cabin, check whether room service is available. It may be slower and sometimes it has a fee, but it's often cleaner and easier than balancing 2 plates and a drink through a packed elevator. Taking food back is not the problem. Doing it without thinking is the problem. And that brings us to the final mistake, the one behind almost every bad buffet habit on board. Number 10. Never treat the buffet like it has no rules. The biggest buffet mistake is not one single action. It's the attitude behind all of them. Some passengers walk into the buffet thinking, well, I paid for this cruise, so I can do whatever I want. That is where everything goes wrong. The buffet may be casual, but it's still part of the ship's dining system. It has rules. It has flow. It has crew working hard behind the scenes to keep food moving, tables clean, stations stocked, and passengers safe. When people ignore that, the whole experience gets worse. They cut in line. They reach across other passengers. They cough near open trays. They show up barefoot from the pool. They walk in wearing wet swimwear with no cover-up. They leave tables messy. They complain when staff close a section for cleaning. They take huge amounts of food for later and waste half of it. That's not cruising smarter. That is making the shared space harder for everyone else. Follow the posted signs. If the buffet asks for shoes and cover-ups, wear them. If a station is closed, let the crew clean it. If a tray is being replaced, we'll just wait. And if a crew member gives an instruction, listen. Most buffet rules are not there to make your cruise less fun. They're there so thousands of people can eat safely, quickly, and comfortably in the same space. And respect the crew. The buffet staff deal with rushes, spills, complaints, special requests, messy tables, and passengers who forget basic manners the moment they see free dessert. A little patience goes a long way. Say thank you. Move when they need access. Let them clear properly. Do not make their job harder because you are in a hurry. The people who enjoy the buffet the most are not the ones who take the most. They're the ones who understand how the ship works. They move calmly. They choose smartly. They respect the space. And because of that, the buffet becomes what it should be: easy, useful, and enjoyable. Now, before your next cruise, remember this. The buffet is easiest when you move with patience, respect, and a little common sense. Avoid these mistakes, and your meals will feel calmer from day one. Like, subscribe, and watch the next video on screen. Your voyage is just beginning.